blood-red moon hung in the night sky. An abandoned, crumbling mansion stood alone in the wilderness. The wind howled like the low sobbing of a woman. The old folks said the mansion hid not only treasures, but also soul-stealing ghosts. My name is Cheongsam. I'm drowning in debt. Tonight, I'm betting my life. I'm going in, gambling for wealth and fortune. I pried open the rotten wooden door. Inside, cobwebs hung thick, dust swirling in the air. My flashlight beam swept across the main hall. There, sitting upright, was the back of a woman in a Cheongsam, motionless, facing a mottled bronze mirror. Terror shot through me. I forced myself to call out. At my shout, the figure collapsed. It was only a skeleton dressed in a Cheongsam. I let out a shaky breath and mocked myself for being so jumpy. But then, in the bronze mirror, something seemed to flicker and vanish. Next to the skeleton's hand lay an exquisite redwood comb, inlaid with gemstones worth a fortune. Greed rose up in me. I reached for it. A crisp crack. The moment I picked up the comb, a faint creak sounded behind me. I spun around, my heart stopped cold. In the mirror, my reflection was gone. Instead, it still showed the back of the woman in the Cheongsam, sitting there eerily still. Horrified, I dropped the comb and turned to flee. But the front door had silently shut. No matter how I pounded on it, it wouldn't budge. From behind me came footsteps, light and deliberate, drawing closer, like embroidered shoes treading on old wooden boards. Panicked, I bolted deeper into the mansion, slamming myself into a side room and bracing the door with my body. The footsteps stopped outside, pacing slowly. Peering through the crack in the door, I saw under the moonlight a pair of bright red embroidered shoes, standing perfectly still outside. Terror peaked so sharply it turned to resolve. I gripped the dagger in my coat, thinking, I'll fight you to the death if I have to. But as I turned, on the windowsill, someone had scrawled a message I couldn't yet read. On the windowsill, in tiny characters, were written the words, "Comb your hair and true gold will appear." Greed once again crushed my fear. True gold? Could there be an even greater treasure? As if possessed, I picked the comb back up and turned toward that cursed bronze mirror. This time my reflection returned, but behind my neck dangled a strand of long black hair that wasn't mine. Trembling, I began combing my hair. Once, twice. With each stroke, the face in the mirror grew paler, and the shadow behind me grew darker and heavier. By the 99th stroke, the reflection suddenly twisted its mouth into a wide grin, revealing rows of ghastly white teeth. That face was no longer mine. From the mirror came a woman's shrill, piercing laughter. I realized too late I had fallen into a trap. I tried to throw away the comb, but my hand wouldn't obey, forcing me to complete the final stroke, the 100th. In an instant, the bronze mirror burst forth with a blinding crimson light. The surface rippled like water. The woman in the Cheongsam fully emerged in the reflection, turning her head slowly, ever so slowly. In reality, my body was paralyzed, my eyes wide open, watching helplessly as a pale, deathly hand reached out from the mirror and closed around my throat. The truth struck me with icy clarity. Those words I saw weren't a promise of life. They were a curse of death. The so-called true gold could only be bought with living flesh. What the mirror sought was not treasure, but a substitute. As the blood-red moon faded, the heavy doors of the mansion creaked open. The first rays of dawn spilled into the grand hall. There, in front of the bronze mirror, sat the same skeleton Cheongsam had seen earlier, only now its bony hand clutched a redwood comb. And in the mirror, there was no skeleton. Instead, it reflected Cheongsam's twisted, terrified smile. The mansion returned to silence, lying in wait for the next soul to enter by greed.